Morning all! I'm back after a fantastic holiday, Sanibel Island, Florida. Thank you, you were brilliant. And today, we've got to be talking the PGA Championship. What an event! And we're also going to be talking the PGA Championship and TV, because over the week of it being on the BBC this year and not on Sky, which we'll talk about reasons why that ended up happening, because my Twitter went insane with lots of very good and very strange debate about the effects of golf on mainstream telly or on TV as a medium, as a vehicle to help golf or not as a whole. So today's question is a simple one. What effect does having TV golf, so golf on the telly, have with the golfing public, people who don't play golf, the public in general? So having golf on telly, and it doesn't mean having golf on the BBC or on Sky, having golf on telly full stop. So obviously you can put your different reasons of what it means having it on BBC to Sky if you want, but what does it do having it on Sky? Does it shift the needle in any way for participation? Does it shift the needle in any way for helping the industry sustain its kind of ability to make money? Club manufacturers, golf courses, brands on clothing, to golf pros who teach and might get more lessons the day after majors that have been on telly, and does that affect it, what telly it's on? Just how does golf on telly shift the needle in any way? Comments down below, post down there, let's hear you. Hit that subscribe button while you're down there as well. If you're liking the daily vlogs, they're back every Monday to Friday. Make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button to show me that you like them. Right, today's video is brought to you by Golf Online. There will be another £20 voucher to win if you follow the link down below if you want to win that £20 voucher with golfonline.co.uk. Follow that link, sign up, winner winner. Right, off to Torquay Golf Club, day of testing. This hedge needs some serious trimming. Right, Torquay Golf Club, we're going to try and hit some clubs. Me and Dan, hello Dan.
Hello Mark, everyone.
I shocked you there. I did that. He's pointing the camera at me again. We're going to hit some clubs, but we're not allowed to talk about these clubs.
We're not.
This video goes out today, and then when
these
clubs don't exist yet.
No,
Don't exist. We're going to hit some non-existent golf clubs. Right, Dan's hitting some. Is that stiff, Dan? I heard that back cracking there, yeah. Very stiff one, Dan. Oh, I can't say that. Alright, let's talk PGA then. So the old team were back, weren't they? And that made a lot of people not happy, which I totally understand. People feel like they've moved on from Peter Alliss and Ken Brown. And people like to feel like they're moving on, like golf's moving on, and I totally get that. I also felt like it was the old team. I understand why it was the old team. You gotta remember the BBC kind of got this thrown on them last minute, definitely picking up the scraps of a few kind of non-agreements it felt like between the PGA and Sky, and then it just had to go somewhere, so it ended up with the BBC. So actually, I think if you look at the logic of why it ended up the way it did, it makes sense. But I agree it was a shame, and I love Peter Alliss and everything he kind of relates to golf. And Ken Brown, I mean, Ken's a clever guy and was a great player. But it just does feel a bit to me when them two are talking like it's like grandson and granddad having those chats that we all have with our granddads, and I love my granddad, but you know, times move on. I do think people also forget maybe Ewan Murray's not the most kind of current player. Seems to like to say top spin a lot. Not player, commentator I mean. Butch is a great coach and he's got some interesting things to say, but he's certainly not the youngest guy in the world, is he? So I do think people were forgetting the issues that all commentary have, Sky included. And at the end of the day, for me, I was happy that golf was getting broadcast to lots of people. That was exciting, and I'm not saying that's right, and we'll talk about that as we go on, because I think that argument and discussion has loads of legs. But it was quite exciting to see it going on some different platforms which might access it to some kind of different demographics of people. That's only exciting as an experiment. Dan's still testing. He's blurred out because you're not allowed to see these clubs yet. He's gonna hit another one. Oh, nice secret shot club, Dan. It's hitting the line. Oh, line. Pulled it by a foot. Pulled it by a foot. Maybe the secret club isn't good enough. Secret rep's laughing over there. Oh, he's line ball. Line ball! Get right. No, I pulled it again. Nearly a line ball. Right, it was really clear, I thought as well, from the PGA, how people weren't aware of how to use their tech. Does that make sense? So lots of people asking where it was, where is it? Oh, it's on the iPlayer. They didn't know it was on the iPlayer, or even how to find the iPlayer. Didn't know how to hit the red button. Didn't know you could get it in HD in certain ways. It was very clear that people were getting very frustrated that they couldn't just turn their tellies on in their slippers and find the golf. And I understand why that is frustrating, but the world has to move on. There are plenty of people who can use these devices. The numbers on the iPlayer, for instance, are massive. Come Wimbledon weeks and things like that. I watched it all on the iPlayer, which I liked because I can watch it in bed, for instance. But it was very clear. It felt to me like lots of times we were having conversations, certainly on Twitter, which were similar to the kind of conversations I have with my mum and dad about their iPhones. Like, what do I do? What's your password, mum? I don't know. Well, you set it up. If you don't know your password, you're going to struggle to log into iTunes. It's like a lot of those conversations, and I understand why that frustrates you, but you buy the tech. The other people didn't. Maybe you need to know how it works.
What am I hitting here? This is the 3, is it?
That's a golf club, Dan.
That's a club.
That is, yes, let's say the 3. The 3. That's a good shot again, Dan. You're on the money at the minute, aren't you? A little bit further left, actually. Right, great day, or morning, early afternoon. Testing there with Dan videos coming shortly on some fun new equipment coming out. Time to head back. I guess at some point I need to eat some food, but I really don't know what time it is at the minute. Jet lag has me. So let's talk exposure, numbers. This is the big one, the interesting one. The one I've been interested from the start, really. So lots of people in TV are out there saying, certainly Sky TV, that exposure isn't important. And if you think about the R&A, they're kind of saying the same, aren't they? They've invested in Sky because they want the production level to go up, which agreed it has done. If it's better or worse is a different separate video, and we'll talk about that. And I know lots of you think that I'm crazy for saying that, but there are challenges to that kind of service different audiences. But I understand why they go that route. But then they reduce the amount it exposes. So they've raised production, which I'm sure lots of you would agree, yet they've seriously reduced exposure. And what really does that mean, if you think about it? There are lots of people, and I've seen reports saying that TV does not shift the needle when it comes to participation. When it comes to numbers involved in golf. And if you think about that, you know, the BBC had it for years while participation numbers were going down, while it were going up and going down, so it didn't maybe have an effect on numbers. And I can see that, and I'm not saying that's not the case. There's a part of me that will strongly agree with that. The point I make, which I think is sad, is that great sport, certainly say majors like the Open that we host, the UK have made such a world great major by following it for years, supporting it with, you know, following reports of it and going to it, can be taken away from the public who made it, helped make it what it was, just around money. That seems a real shame. I think kids, adults, any elderly, young, middle-aged, anyone has the right to watch and celebrate great sport on the national TV channel, which for us would be BBC or ITV, which I know isn't free because people talk about the license fee, but again that's a different video, and one that maybe we should involve the government in rather than just ourselves. Exposing people to sport, in my opinion, any sport, even ones that I don't want to play, teaches us great rules of success, of failure, of how practice can change your life and influence your life for better. I don't watch the snooker and want to go and play snooker. I might have the odd few frames which it encourages me to do, which again we'll talk about in a second. But watching expert sportsmen and celebrating their achievements with them in a championship that celebrates us as a nation because it's the UK World Championships or whatever, is a great thing for society, and one that makes me so sad that we're all so happy just to let go for the paying few. And it is a few when you look at the number comparison. That's the truth. Then 2 points about it changing, moving the needle that I think are interesting is I think it does move the needle for the golf industry, what I'm part of. I see an increase of lessons around times of majors, Masters and the Open certainly went on BBC. And I'm not so much teaching now, I'm more dedicated to Sky commitments, it's hard to do that comparison. But I would see a needle shift in my numbers around those events made public. And then it's up to me to bring them into this product, if we like, called golf, and try and keep them. I don't expect the Open to do that, or Sky to do that, or BBC to do that. They're, if anything, the shop window into our sport, and then it's up to me and the clubs to make it accessible and fun and enjoyable and engage them. So I would challenge that it does shift the needle, and you can see it shifts the needle for the golf industry because the manufacturers will hang products seriously around those events, from Mercedes to, I think Nikon were a sponsor of the Open, to all the manufacturers, Titleist and everything else doing all their promotions around. So it definitely shifts the needle in the business, the industry, and the more money there is in the business, in the industry, the more it supports its employees, that then feeds out to the grassroots people, from club pros to even the reps selling golf equipment, who then have money to go and play their game. You know, it just kind of feeds back in. And then the other big argument that really worries me with the whole, that often the media, certainly the Sky TVites, dig for themselves. And I think the governing bodies need to bear this in mind as well. It's an interesting one, and I'd love you to post comments down below on any of these points. Is if TV does not shift the needle, and say the RNA are happy to give it to a reduced audience because they kind of out there saying it doesn't shift the needle, they want production to go higher, then why are we investing any time, any effort in using them as vehicles for this great game? Why are the organisations, RNA, USGA, why are they not going more for the public? If they have an interest in golf as a whole, which they have to do because golf has to be supported for their championships to be supported, why are we only looking at the dollar? Why are we only looking at the green? It saddens me to think that it's only coming down to TV rights and how much money they can get in from those TV rights. And I'm not saying the RNA don't put that back in, they do. They're a non-profit making organisation, it goes back in. You would be so naive to think that the internet isn't a massively powerful tool to make huge amounts of money, while at the same time giving sport massive exposure to every genre in every country from any age. So I don't get that one. If TV isn't moving the needle, why on earth is anyone wasting their time with it? Why are they not giving the championships to the bigger platforms who can expose to bigger amounts of people who might shift the needle? I'll put this out there. I get number of emails daily with people telling me that they've got back into golf through watching my videos, people who don't play, who watch my videos and have tried it. I could just show you time and time again people responding to my content that way. My content, obviously the medium I use, online, freemium model if you like, it's still so young and very new, as you can see, with new people popping up all the time and growing fast, which is great. You know, let's get everyone watching golf on free platforms. I would argue we are shifting the needle, and I can see we're shifting the needle. I'm trying to be as modest as possible, yet we're still looking at TV, constantly looking at TV. My kids don't watch TV. They don't watch any. They do not turn it on for scheduled TV anymore. They watch on YouTube stuff on demand. They watch iPlayer stuff when they want to watch it. I think the needle shifting question is one-dimensional and raw and can be challenged. I think we should all be challenging it. Come on, comments down below. This is a really good subject, one that excites me. Seeing the golf accidentally almost ending up on BBC and on their streaming channels was a really exciting experiment, and I can't wait to see the numbers. Even though those locked, paid models, those people who don't want that model to change, and I understand why, it's their business, it will change. I think it's gonna change. Are gonna try and talk those numbers to be not important. Don't shift the needle, yet sponsors are hanging on to events and players and paying them vast amounts of money. Come on, let me hear your thoughts. Girl 1, girl 2. We're going to get tea, boys at football with mummy. It's me and girl 1, girl 2. Still isn't cut. There we go, thanks for watching. The daily vlogs are back. I have enjoyed today's one. I think it's some interesting points.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I see golf as a brand. Brands like exposure. They also like quality exposure as well. Fanula, if you wanted to expose your product, would you choose to expose it to loads of people or not many people?
What did she say?
She said loads.
Why would you expose it for little amount of people? Then not very many more people would see your product.
Well, that is a good point, and I kind of agree with that, but at the same time there are some products, if you take like Rolex watches, they don't try to expose to everyone, they try to expose just in areas that show their brand is excellent. So there's always interesting arguments for both sides. Me personally, someone in the golf industry, would love to see more people playing golf. I'd love you to be able to play golf whenever you want, you to play golf whenever you want. You're lucky because I can label that to you. People who aren't as lucky, I would just like exposure for everyone. I'd also like you both to be able to see fantastic sporting moments, even if you don't take up that sport, because it inspires generations, ideas, and ideas of achievement. That's all.
What did achievement mean?
See you tomorrow. Before I go, I forgot to mention last week's winner of the Golf Online hybrid giveaway from Cobra, actually, on Golf Online, was Ben Pearson. So he's been notified. I even saw him mention it on Twitter today, so well done, Ben. He guessed the right winner in Justin Thomas, and he also entered the competition down there. £20 voucher for next week. Down there, enter Golf Online. See if you become a winner. I'm very tired, I think. It's only 7 o'clock. Jet lag. Can't go to bed yet, can I?